Roll call for attendance, please.
Patty.
Here.
Matt.
Here.
Kelly.
Here.
Ken.
Here.
Lori here.
Okay, with item D, approve the agenda, I would like to add under new, well, first,
Go ahead.
I'd like to move item number 1, new business, take it out of order and put it under item D.
I'll second that.
And I'd like to add trunk or treat flyer and sign under new business.
New business 8.
Yes.
Second that.
Matt seconds
Would
it.
you explain what the first one was first?
The-
That you're moving something up to D?
We're gonna move new business item number 1 up between D and E. under
Oh, so it's
approve.
between D and E, it's not part of, okay.
Yeah.
Right. And your motion is to approve the addition? Is that it? Or to approve the agenda?
To approve to make changes in the agenda, but first I wanted to ask if anybody else had any changes they wanted to make. Anybody else? Okay, so then I need a second for that.
Right.
Matt seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Oppose? Motion carries.
With that, I will make a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, so with that, our new item number D is going to be the award from the St. Clair Binational Public Advisory Council for the Parks and the Restoration Project at Waterfront Park.
Thank you, Supervisor Caselli, board members, citizens of Cottrellville Township. My name is Paulette Duhane. I am the U.S. Vice Chair of the St. Clair River Binational Public Advisory Council, or BPAC for short. I know that's a mouthful. So we were formed, just to give you a little background, for those of you who are not familiar with what we do. We were formed in 1987 to advise the governments of the U.S. and Canada on ways to improve the St. Clair River because it had been designated an area of concern in 1985 due to excessive pollution. The governments wanted to know what the particular problems were in this area, in the St. Clair River, and how to remediate those. We had 10 out of the 14 possible, what we call beneficial use impairments. A beneficial use is anything you would expect from living near the water, source of drinking water, recreation, swimming, that sort of thing. And what was impaired and what we would have to do to improve those. One of these, we've improved and delisted 6 of the 10 impairments. 4 remain, and of those 4, one is fish and wildlife habitat. We had lost a lot of habitat due to hardening of seawalls, draining of wetlands for construction and agriculture, and various things of that nature. But fish and wildlife habitat is very expensive and it's very widespread. It was one of the most difficult of the impairments to make progress on. We realized that the scope of the fish and wildlife impairment was beyond what we could do, so we had to partner with the local communities to get things done. And that was what we did here in Cottrellville Township. You had some riverfront property that was abandoned or in disrepair, and it hardened seawall. It was a perfect area because as being shorefront, but also being close to some of the artificial reefs that were put into the river by the EPA to improve fish breeding areas. So this was one of our more successful habitat restoration projects, and it would also bring an access for Cottrellville Township residents to come down to the river. It also improves the habitat for young fish in the river that need protection from predation. It also improves habitat for amphibians and reptiles. There was no habitat, or there was no sign of any use of the shoreline before the construction project, before the restoration. Now, a preliminary survey showed 7 mud puppies just this summer. So that is a good sign. Mud puppies are endangered, so that's a good sign that they're coming back. A full pre-construction assessment is going on now and also next spring. So we'll have a better idea of just how much the habitat has improved and what type of wildlife is using the habitat. So I can come back at that time and give you an update, and I would be happy to do so. So this is one of our success stories, as I was saying. It's close to a tributary in the Marine City Drain, where we did a little shoreline restoration there on some private property, and they'll be restoring the drain earlier. So we hope with the continuity of the reefs in the river, the shoreline restoration, and the connection of the tributaries and opening that back up for use of wildlife, that this will make a significant impact in wildlife and habitat restoration. So for the cooperation of Cottrellville Township, we would like to present you with a partnership award. Kelly, you can step forward. This reads, Cottrellville Township is hereby recognized as a St. Clair River restoration partner by the St. Clair River Bi-National Public Advisory Council 2015. And you Thank you.
Thank you.
I will be here for a while, at least till about 8:30, 8:45. I have brought our progress reports for those of you who want some more information about the other thing. A map of all of the habitat projects on the river, both the U.S. and Canadian side, and also our updated Eat Safe Fish for the St. Clair River and the St. Clair County. So this is updated information based on the latest analysis of fish in the St. Clair River. These are all on the back, and I will be here for a while to answer any questions you might have. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Just want to pass this around because there is a lot of people.
Yeah, that's a picture of the actual site right there.
Thank you. Okay, so moving along to item number E, approval of the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented. You need to speak up, Matt.
Yeah.
I'll second that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any discussion? All in favor? Roll call. Ha.
Matt,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Lori, yes, Ken,
No.
and Patty.
Yes. Motion carries. Item number F, open session. Anyone wishing to address the board on agenda items only?
Here to address the board on Parks and Rec trunk or treat. I wanted to come up here and thank certain people. I wanted to thank Ken for purchasing the flyers and the lights for the trunk or treat. Pat Runyon for the hot dog buns. Barb Asney for the hot dogs, cups, and cocoa. Tammy McGuire for the hot dog stand and other supplies. Mr. Westrick for the corn stalks. Kelly for helping on the advertisement. And the people that volunteered candy that can't be here, I appreciate that. And Lonnie Jones for donating the round bell that we made a pumpkin out of for the entrance to the park. And also want to thank Jerry and Nikki for the special treat that they're going to bring to the trunk or treat. While we're on the Parks and Rec, that's on the agenda tonight, I wanted to bring it to Mr. Kowalczyk's attention that is there a reason why you're asking for the $750 for the park inspection tonight?
You want me to answer that?
It's your choice.
You mentioned the word liability, I think 3 or 4 times last meeting. You had questioned that. So in going out to the park with some of the issues that haven't been corrected, swing set, that little chain, I went out, looked at the park, saw the name of the company and asked them, and they say, yes, we do that, and your rec head, department head is correct. You should have us out and do a check of your facility. So I asked the gentleman to come out, and he said, I can't, but I'll give you that for consideration of the board. I thought it was the appropriate thing to do for our township, following your lead in your Parks and Rec report last month.
Okay, I appreciate that. Am I, to my understanding, did they already do the inspection?
No, sir.
Because I talked to a Brian and a Dan from Play World. Those are people that they said that you called,
Brian is
And-
the gentleman, yes.
and
I
they
spoke
said
to
that they were doing the inspection a month ago.
him. They wanted to, and I told them he couldn't until board approves it.
Okay,
Again, you had mentioned the word liability multiple times.
right.
So all I did was look and found their signia, their symbol on one of the playscape, called them and asked the supervisor that I'll make a phone call on this. Tony had mentioned that there may be some liability concerns for the township. I thought the appropriate thing to do is, you're mentioning it, no one's making a phone call. I have no problem making a phone call and asking.
Okay.
The gentleman said, yes, that's what my job is for that company. I'll be there tomorrow. And I said, no, sir, you can't. And then he called me again. I said, sir, I need approval of the board before we can do that.
So are you aware they were here, though, a month
No.
ago?
No.
You're not aware?
Not aware of it.
Because I asked them, and they told me you had called them.
I did.
And that's why they were out there, and they're waiting for Patty to come out there so they could tell her what was wrong with the park. This is what they told me.
No knowledge of what you just said.
You don't have no, they just showed up there one day.
I don't know if they did or not. What you're
Yeah, I'm
saying is
telling you they did.
Well, that's fine. I don't know that.
They said that you called them.
I did.
I'm asking you if that's what happened.
Again, I'll explain it again.
No, you don't need to explain it again,
Well,
I'm
you
letting
just
you know.
asked me again.
Well, no, I didn't ask you again. I said, that's what they said you said. I didn't ask you if you called them again. I said, they said that you had called them.
I did.
Okay, that's fine. And then, with the only thing I other wanted to address with the Parks and Rec is, what was the deal with the pictures being taken? And I had a meeting with Kelly. We had it worked out, and somebody had taken the pictures of the park, saying that the park wasn't up to par. And it got back to me as Lori, Matt, and Patty were involved in these picture taking, which I had a meeting with Kelly, got it all squared around. Me and her, I thank you, Kelly, for having enough sense to
I went out
call
there
me.
to the pictures.
Oh, I thought you said at the meeting that you didn't have nothing to do with
The
it.
board members walked out, that we all went out there.
Okay.
I took the pictures.
Well, I appreciate you having enough sense to call a meeting, because you know the kind of person I am. I'm not going to sit there and let something go bad for a year or two, because it's all going to have a reflection on me, all right? I'm not that way. So I just wanted to get down to the bottom of it, of why the pictures were taken. I think most of them has been corrected.
Right, I'm gonna bring that up at the whole,
Oh, okay.
everything on the supervisor's
I wasn't sure, so I
Okay,
just.
that's okay.
Yeah,
I'm
I just wanted to have it addressed.
I'm gonna address that,
that
because it's something that I.
If I had the
mentioned last-
okay, and I had for 2 years, saying I didn't have the money, Parks and Rec didn't have the money, and I wasn't given no money. So as me and Kelly had the meeting, there was no tools I used my own tools for 2 years. I think you're aware of that. And my own money, all right, for the Parks and Rec. So, I mean, I'm glad it's got addressed and it has been taken care of. So, thank you.
Thank you, Tony. I didn't know that was coming. That's gonna be under the supervisor comments, the meeting.
Okay, I had asked for a quarterly report for the Planning Commission and the Historical Society. And I had addressed this previously. Before the budget amended meeting you had in August 27th, and actually I had contacted every one of you, and you all knew what was wrong on the budget for the Planning Commission, what was subtracted. There was a lot of Verizon stuff, should have been a separate account. Anyway, when you look at this, there's only one expenditure since April 1st, 2015, and it is the $81. What all this other stuff is, I don't know what contracted services for $3,464.50 is. Said we use 100% of our contract service. That's a Verizon. That has got nothing to do with us. We have not contracted anybody on the Planning Commission. Mileage, actually, I talked to Ellen today. She just turned in her mileage yesterday, or last week, pardon me. So that mileage is from a March 31st meeting that 3 of us went to for the Metropolitan Planning Commission. So that mileage is in the old budget. The education, training, and conference, that, I don't know where that's coming from, $436. We only spent $81 out of our budget so far. Publishing and advertising, $328. That's all got to be Verizon stuff. It cannot be the Planning Commission. And there was, Verizon actually listed on Verizon. Verizon had a separate escrowed account that they gave a check for $2,100 for a budget that I made for them, what I thought they were going to spend, and $2,500 for our attorney. That should have been separate from my budget. And the other thing is, it says $7,120 is the budget, the amended budget. No, the amended budget was $6,620. I had originally, I think I'd asked for $8,200 or something like that, but we brought it down to $6,620. That's what the actual amended budget is, of which we've spent $81 for the Planning Commission. Then if you look on the next page, and this has been an issue, and I have brought it to your attention, and then, like I said, I couldn't be there for the August 27th meeting because I was out of town, but I wanted to make sure all of you got it. So, and I personally gave every one of you the copies of the information. Anyway, again, on the Planning Commission, $80.65, that's from 2014. That, we spent zero out of the $250 on the historical side. There's not a dime been spent. So that, this does not, and the other thing is, I think anybody should be able to look at this report. Planning Commission says we use 59.79% of the budget. It says budget used. Anybody should be able to look at this report. You don't need, it's not rocket science, and be able to see that, okay, they spent $81, and okay, what is that? 10% or something. And they should be able to look at the same thing with the historical side. It shouldn't be rocket science. It shouldn't be difficult to look at if it's done correctly. So just want to bring it to your attention. And I know I talked to Kelly about it, and she said it was going to be corrected, and I think she thought it was. So I don't know what the deal is, but please, would you make sure this gets corrected, because I want to know that where I'm coming from, and I've not used under 10% or whatever it is, maybe 11% of the
Okay,
budget.
I'm gonna just address it real quick. Anything that's Verizon spent is in the Planning Commission right now because it was a Planning Commission topic. And as soon as that subject is closed, where all the fees and charges and everything, and we speak with our auditors as to where to put it and which line items in the budget we need to open up through the budget of account line items, that's where it's all gonna go. But until now, it has to go there. But when we open the report, it will say $500 for this, $70.
Should have
whatever it
never,
was.
never been on my budget.
It-
Should have been a
no,
separate
yeah,
escrow
I do
account,
the
just
budget. I
telling you.
decide where the things go.
Well, then
When
you decided
I talk
wrong.
to it, no, I did not, because you know
Tell
so much
yourself
about
that.
the budget. I'm not gonna argue with you. It's my budget. I'm
This was
advised by
my
the
budget.
I'm done, I'm done.
And the
I'm done.
Verizon
I'm
budget
done.
got
I'm
separate.
done.
It should have been separate.
I'm done. If
It
you
was
don't wanna
not part
listen,
of my, I'm not going to
arguing with
listen.
you.
It
I'm
was
well,
not
I'm
part.
not gonna let you come up
Good.
here and tell me when I'm
Well,
not
I will
doing
make
wrong.
that statement.
Well, then you can make that statement. You are wrong.
I am
You are
not.
wrong. The items
Tell
go,
yourself
the
that.
expenses
Tell
go,
yourself
where
that
our
lie. I'm not
attorneys go, and where our auditors tell us where to put it, not where Pat Runyon tells us where to put it. Sure. So to reiterate, the items that are spent in the planning commission that are Verizon expenses are put there under the advisement of the township attorney and the township auditors, not Pat Runyon or myself.
With no clarification on it, too.
And there's clarification when you run in there and look for the expense.
Contracted services, just.
So that is that, and we are gonna move along. Oh, and let's get to the Historical Society. That was a reimbursement that was paid in 2015, therefore it goes in this budget.
It was something I asked to put
So
on
that's
it.
that,
I'm
and
gonna
we are
finish
going
this.
to move
It's
along
something that I had
to
get
item
on the
number
agenda,
one,
and I had a hard time getting
unfinished
on the agenda.
business.
And
Update
well,
on
finally on the agenda was a
supervisor's
reimbursement for
residency.
2014. That is bullshit.
Pat, you can
You
leave.
shut up too.
You can leave right
I
now.
will.
I'm
You
gonna,
know,
thank you,
That's
thank
why
you.
you're being recalled.
No, that's not why I'm
Yes, it is.
being recalled. I'm
It's
being
not.
recalled because of 40 seconds. Bye.
No, you're not. The
Bye.
bottom line is, people don't want
That's
to.
it. We're gonna take a recess.
Good.
Thank you. Bye. The board.
Is recess
On
over?
agenda items? We didn't vote on it. Don't need to do that. Moving along to unfinished business, update on my residency. I am still actively seeking residency in Cottrellville Township. There's not much choice for rentals, so I am currently working with a real estate broker and a mortgage, to get a mortgage to find someplace. So to show that, you know, I am committed to living in Cottrellville. With all the beat downs and everything else, I still believe that this is a good community and I still want to be involved and help. And I'm willing to buy a house here. Okay, item number 2, recycling of computer equipment. We had mentioned that we had outdated computer equipment that was, we were gonna try to donate it. We were told that through our IT right that we couldn't donate it because, I'll give you theirs. We couldn't donate it to the Historical Society based on, the unstable operating system. He had some serious security risk. So they are going to come and pick up the equipment on Wednesday, August 21st for recycling. And they don't give credits. We tried to get a credit from them to try to put it towards some other equipment, and they don't do that. So at least it will be properly recycled, receipt, and that's that.
October 21st.
Yes. What did I say?
August.
Oh, August, October 21st, sorry. Anybody have any questions on that one? Anybody have any questions on my residency? Update use of tablets for board members?
I have not found any other company that's willing to offer a 2-month free trial as of yet, and I'm waiting for an estimate from IT Right. So that's where that stands.
And that all of the incentives that they had discussed at the last meeting, they're still willing to,
Yeah, well, that offer expired, so I
it
can't.
it did expire. Anybody else got anything about the tablets? No? So we'll move on to new business. So So item number 1 is gonna be the playground equipment inspection, which Matt sent this quote to me, and I called the playground company, and this is the company that installed the equipment on the playground, and the $750 would include an on-site inspection of equipment, a written report of the findings and standards, and a report with pictures of all equipment and inventory. And when I asked them what was the difference of them coming out and doing it as compared to just one of us or a parks maintenance man, apparently they go to classes for this, and they're certified, so as far as liabilities and that, it just helps with our insurance. And so that's basically what, and their knowledge of the equipment and how to repair it properly and things like that. So from a safety standpoint, and I think that they know more, what to look for, and for example, where that crack is on the side, the welding there, to look for, how they would repair it, or if they can. Anyway, so instead of taking it out of the Parks and Rec budget, we can take it out of my mileage, because I haven't used any mileage this year. So that would pay for that.
Isn't this inspection something that should be done periodically?
Yes, I
anyway?
recommend once a year.
Once a year?
Yeah, and thanks for finding the type.
Does that inspection include the repairs?
No.
Well, isn't the inspection just sort of common sense that the DPW could do themselves? Because without the repair, without verification that it was completed, they're off the hook. They have no liability. Doesn't matter what their credentials are.
They're just,
It's just a recommendation.
right, by a certain.
But that's no conclusion that it was completed. So, I mean, actually, the DPW could say that there's a crack in the slide, there's a bad chain link, could be anything.
Do I trust my residents' safety on a DPW who's not trained in checking chains and knowing what structure problems that this equipment has?
Well, that sounds good, but it's never
DPW,
been checked yet.
Or does that mean we should continue to not have it checked?
No, but we could probably start with the basics. If for some reason he feels he can't visibly see a bad chain or a crack in the slide.
I think the fact that it's never been done before warrants a professional coming in and looking at the whole thing, and then perhaps next year have DPW look at it. I think at this point, because it's how old? I don't even know how old the equipment is.
And you want to do the inspection before winter when it sits out there all year. If you're going to have it inspected, wouldn't it make more sense to do it in the springtime before you start
If
to
there's
use it?
fundamental problems with it right now, I would rather have it checked now before winter, because kids still play on it during the winter. And during the winter, I think you have more stresses with the coldness.
Who's going to fix it after he inspects it?
I do not know.
Cross that bridge when we get there, I guess.
Well,
We
then let's
need to
cross the
know.
inspection when we figure out who can be the one qualified to fix it.
We know who's qualified to fix it. I don't.
The DPW, who isn't
Assume they're
qualified to see the
employees,
crack?
you know?
That doesn't make
I
sense.
think
Who's going to fix it?
Do you have anything, Matt?
Mr. Chartier's done. First, this inspection hasn't been done yet, is that correct?
Correct.
So it was incorrect when someone said that it was.
correct.
No, that's not.
So, secondly,
I did not receive any paperwork saying that the inspection was completed. The only thing I received was a quote.
They were doing it that day, I ran into them out there.
so in speaking with this company, and maybe our department head knows it too, the recommendation is to do the inspection, and if at all possible, recommend to somebody if they're qualified to do so. Otherwise, they can, of course, fix the equipment. And as he says in his report, he's going to give you a report of all the findings, standards that are in violation, and pictures and inventory it, and we go from there. I think we would be in neglect to the township and the people that use the park and ourselves if we don't do something. It hasn't been done, I don't believe, ever. And again, I don't know how old that park is, but 2003, and it hasn't been looked at. And just walking out there, you can see.
we had a regular person looking at that every week, plus when I was in the deputies,
We have,
we took care of any complaint that came in, and we immediately took care of it. I bet you my husband paid to have that digger welded probably 5 times out of our own pocket by a certified welder, mechanical fab in Marine City. So it was done with liability in mind.
right. Well, this is all we're trying to do here. As I said, our department had brought it up last month.
But
And
$750 is a lot of money to send a guy out here from wherever he's coming from, probably Grand Rapids, I think is where the main office is. That's way too much money. And for $750, you can probably fix everything in that thing that needs to be repaired.
The swing, we have the swing and the chain and the digger, right?
And the climbing one.
Those chains that are on the swings, they have a special coating on them. And when the coating and the chain, because I had a conversation with the people that did the inspection, all the chains inside the coating are rusted and they're starting to crack. Now, Tony had somebody remove the baby swing because he didn't have the tool to remove it, and that was the liability because it was hanging on 3 chains. The gentleman that I spoke to at the park told me that this is an issue that they have with the chains and the coating, that they rust inside because the plastic cracks. So having the DPW come out here and fix it and then not having the knowledge of that kind of technical issue, I don't think that's a good idea.
Well, the
myself.
chains, the rubber hold the moisture in the chain.
Yes.
I mean, common sense is gonna tell you that.
And the
That's why
rubber's
the chains
cracking.
rusted out, and that's why the one chain broke. So I was in here, I think a couple of months ago, and I think what Matt was talking about, when I said liability, I was referring to the liability of the township. If somebody getting hurt, that's why I was gonna remove this one. And that's why I removed this one. That's where the liability came.
Okay, thank you for your input. So do we want to make is any more discussion? Be no more discussion.
I move that we table it until we can, for $750, we can buy new chains and have them installed.
Do we have a second on the tabling? Being none, I need a motion.
I'll make a motion. I make a motion that we bring out Play World to inspect this as stated in their quote, to do the inspection and give us the written report so as to know where we are for the safety of our residents and the people that use that.
I'll second it. To add to the motion, do you need to add to the motion that be taken out of my knowledge?
No, we can
Okay.
amend the budget.
Roll call.
Is that how you do?
Right. Patty? I'm sorry, roll call vote. Patty?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Lori, yes. Ken?
No,
Motion carries. New business, item 3, approved ditching project at Plank and Starville Roads. This description of the project is ditching on the north side of Plank between Bobian Creek Drain and Starville Road, removing trees and replacing 4 driveway culverts. The road commission plans to donate $10,000 worth of ditching in the same section and replace 3 of the driveway culverts. And that area, I don't know if everybody's familiar, but we have a lot of problems right in that area with flooding, as well as all the way down Plank Road. The county is going to donate $10,000. Then we're gonna do a drain match with them. We have 15,000 in our drains at large, so they're gonna match us 13. So the project's gonna cost 36,000, but the township's only paying 13 of it. that's how we're getting that done. They're still agreeing to hold our match for the roads to do all the shortcut, the whole shortcut for next year. So that was a double bonus actually, because that was a match as well, and they're letting us keep that application for that match so we can, but this project, they were getting ready to do, and it was cheaper for us to do that with, right now with the issues that we have, and then handle shortcut next year. So
You said 36,000?
36,000 is the
My
total.
sheet says 26, that's the reason I was asking.
13 of it, that's the total amount, 13 of it will be from, that's the way they write it out. Can you explain that better? Because Matt and I had the same thing with the way
36 and 13 is not 36.
That's just the way the total, that's the way, they're just doing it out of what the project is for. It's not, that's not the cost.
Is this our portion of it? This
No,
is a-
that's just
Okay.
the way that they write it. Our portion of it is 13,000. And I can't explain it the way Mike.
That's the way Mike does, right.
Explained it. That's just how they put it on their,
Well, 13 would be half, so that'd be the.
right, and
match.
that's just the way that they
Right.
write up their work orders. We are only paying 13 of it.
Right, when we get the bill, we have a total of 26 on there, but then they say your portion is 13.
I followed that part of it, except 26 and 36, there's a little difference.
Well, the 10,000, they don't even write an order of, because that's their, whatever,
That's
their
that money we have
finance
sitting
thing.
there.
No, that's the
Oh,
counties. That's just
sorry.
them saying, here's 10,000 that we're gonna add into the project.
All right.
It's
I'm
very
confusing two things.
confusing,
Which is
the
right.
way they do it.
Okay.
But that's the,
But the end line is
That-
that our portion will be $13,016
Right.
or $18.
correct.
Okay.
And then if anybody needs Mike's number or wants to call them to ask them to explain that, feel free, because I can't. It's, the only way I can explain it is that's just how they write their agreements.
And there's money in the budget on this, yes.
And there is, and it drains at large, there's 15,000.
And you didn't add to this in speaking with Mike. The Starville ditch, north and south, runs into this ditch that goes down to the, whatever creek that is, the drain system.
Yes.
Right. So this, if this isn't done, then the other one doesn't work, and that's a county road, and I know that is scheduled for them also to be started and worked on. So they sort of are hand in hand, and we have put this off.
Correct.
So he was happy to see us addressing this issue now.
Correct. Any other questions or discussion? We need a motion.
I'll make the motion to approve I'm looking, the ditching on the north side of Plank Road between Bobian Creek and Starville in the amount of $13,018, our match.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Lori, yes. Ken?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes. Motion carries. Motion carries. Item number 4, approved to renewal of membership of Marine City Chamber of Commerce. Okay, so this is a governmental organizational membership for the Marine City Chamber of Commerce. I, for one, disagree with belonging to this membership because we don't belong to any of our other surrounding communities, chambers of commerce. Any other discussion?
What would it do for us if we did agree with it? Has it ever done anything in the past?
Not to my knowledge.
Have we been paying for this in the past?
Yes.
To renew it. We have. Did you look into, I don't know who put this on the agenda, but did we look into what the benefits may be? Could be?
It's a mix, mostly it's for, what's the word I'm looking for? Not marketing, networking, thank you. For networking primarily. Anybody else? That's what I know that it's used for various communities and business leaders getting together and discussing.
Well, if I can add a point, you mentioned that it's a renewal. We've had this before, I don't know how long. Networking, and reading and being part of the planning commission years back, or month, no, it's a year now, it's been a year since I've been off, since I got this position. But part of our 2020 plan, and I believe any plan before, is networking, using what your neighboring communities. I mean, obviously, I don't believe anybody would want a Cottrellville to have a VG's or a Kroger, like Clay Township. It states that even in our plan, that doesn't make sense. You use the resources your neighbors have, and you design your township accordingly. It seems to make sense when you look at a plan. So why wouldn't we want to network with the people next to us? Especially only at $70. And I believe on that line item, we actually have the money in the budget. Would be my point.
I'm sorry.
I make a motion not to renew the Chamber of Commerce at this time.
I just happened to see the back of this. Did anybody turn their page over? I know, I didn't see the back of this earlier. I second with Con. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Oppose?
Nay.
Motion carries. Item number 5, adopt basic continuity, I can't say that. word.
Continuity.
Continuity.
Could I just clarify as to
Yes.
why we did not do a roll call vote? It was to not renew, which is not spending money, so we did not do a roll call vote.
Okay, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Say it again. This evening.
Continuity.
Oh, yeah. So of operations, do you want to explain that?
Okay, we have Joe Roshan.
So
This is-
Cottrellville's
yeah.
Homeland Security Liaison. Man, he's the man.
Come in.
The basic continuity plan of operation is basically from Jeff Freeland, who is the county emergency services. And what it is continuity of operations serves as a visual representation and suggestion to the township board in the event of a major catastrophe. This plan and each position named hereon is only intended to be utilized in the unfortunate event of loss of life, property, and the impediment of the township's essential structures and functions. Basically, what it is it names in order how we're going to present the township, which would be the supervisor, the clerk, the treasurer, the trustee, the deputy clerk, the deputy treasurer, DPW superintendent, and myself. It doesn't give the authority to one person to spend money. All it is the authority to say, yeah, we need some help, you know, in the event of a major catastrophe. I'm not saying a little grass fire, house fire, or I'm talking an F5 tornado coming through, something like that, and they're gonna say, yeah, we need some help. And it wipes out the whole board, and so the deputy clerk will take over. She cannot spend money or make decisions except for calling in FEMA or something like that, or calling the county in. That's all it stands for. That's it.
Thank you, Joe.
In addition to that, under this, you have township supervisor, clerk, treasurer. You have to put in the names and the addresses and the phone numbers. They require this.
Have we ever done this before, Joe?
Not to my knowledge. This is a requirement that is coming along through FEMA and through the emergency management, that basically if everybody wiped out here, next person in charge. Be no worse than the fire department coming off, chief wasn't there, the assistant chief taking over, or the ranking officer, or so forth and so on. I cannot go out and spend $1 million for the township. I can advise, you know, what's going on.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'd just like to let everybody know that Joe's been our Homeland Security liaison for the 3 years that I've been in office, and he takes a lot of his own personal time to do the job, and I appreciate it.
I make a motion that we adopt the basic continuity of operations plan.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, adopt resolution R 2015-08, St. Clair County Hazard Mitigation, now I can say that word, plan. To,
Again, Joe. Sorry.
Through Jeff Freeland, through the Emergency Management Coordination, who I'm in touch with, the county adopted a hazard mitigation plan, basically through FEMA. And these are all plans saying that if we want to receive FEMA help, that we would receive it eventually. But this is stating that we are in contact with the county, saying that, yeah, we're eligible for FEMA, and this just speeds up the process in case FEMA has to come in and do whatever they have to do. That's basically what this is all about. It's a faster means of getting the funds from FEMA.
any
That's all.
questions? Thank you, and I'd like to take this time to introduce Joe. He's our Homeland Security liaison. Thanks, Joe.
I make a motion to adopt the mitigation plan also.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Being none, all in favor?
Roll call
Aye.
vote.
No,
Oh,
It's
it's a resolution.
Okay. Ken?
it's an adoption. Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Matt?
Yes.
Kelly?
Yes.
Lori, yes.
Item number 7, discussion on water mapping. Right. So, we've had this discussion for the last couple of years, and the township doesn't have one map that you can go to look at our water mapping system. There's several, and they're not very technological, and none of them have where our hydrants are. Mr. Med, you can probably explain it better than that.
Good evening. Yeah, we basically don't have any maps that show any structures, valves, hydrants, cross connections, the pipe sizes, the side of the road, they are, I have no clue where is your water main. I believe Patty asked that question too, looking at the districts, and there was no map identifying any water districts. They're scattered all over the place. There are bits and pieces, maybe, in storage or DPW, but there is no overall map that the township is using right now.
And what would be the benefit of us having the water system mapping done?
Oh, I can go for a couple of days explaining that. Basically, I mean, it is a public information. The public is entitled of the map. And normally with the municipalities that I've seen, this is the first one that there is no map. I'm sorry to say that. But basically it's displayed at the hall, at the DPW, at the fire department, and if you have an EMS authority, they do have that too. So it is public information. That is used also for master planning, planning commission master planning, and also water system master planning. There are two different things. The DEQ also, and the state basically requires a 5-year reliability study that requires that it's a very key component of that study. And I have not seen one for Cottrellville. A couple of months ago or 3 months ago, we talked about ISO and insurance rating. That map is needed for that too. This map will be used on a daily basis by DPW, building, fire department, you know, in your operation maintenance, and also emergencies. If you don't know where your system is, how can you respond? And also for fire too. The township rates, if you don't know what you have, how can you develop the rates? And I heard before that the rates, they need to be revisited. So if we don't know what kind of asset that we have and where they are, how can you develop any type of rate projection and cost projection? We don't know how much it costs if we need to replace the system, how old. So you basically, you will show the district map. I'll go through this later. Future development in SADs, if a developer comes in here, they don't know where the water is and what size and what kind of extension they need. SADs, special assessment districts, if a group of residents want to extend the water service, we don't know what information to give them without the map. Touching base on Jeff's plans, the emergency response plans that are required by the state need that map. Water shortage plan, we don't have any. Cross-connection programs, we don't have any. And that map will be the first thing that the state will ask for. So basically, the map will show the water lines of the structures, the districts. I believe you have several districts as far as service districts. And it will be displayed throughout your offices.
Thank you. Any questions? Matt?
No questions. I appreciate your input, and I think
Absolutely.
we owe it to our residents, and we should do something like this and have it. However, I do understand right now part of this discussion, and I believe the board should go back and figure out how we can come up with $4,800 to do this and move forward in that project for all efforts.
And this, the SAW grant doesn't cover it because it's the whole township.
No, the SAW grant is
It's
related
just
to
for
sewer,
our
not
sewer.
water.
Right, but I just want to make sure in case somebody asks me that that's clear.
And I did check with your planner. They do show the service district, but nothing as far as a water map. And they checked through their archives. There's nothing available.
Lori, did you have any questions?
This is one of the things that we are looking at with regard to our problem with.
Previous engineer.
Correct, thank you. That was a very nice way to put it. I know that that's a question that John McNamee's looking into.
I believe the previous engineer have plans for water extensions, but not a map.
He wouldn't have
I
a
don't-
map of what was recently put in?
I'm not sure about that.
Wasn't that his job to draw, tell us where to put those lines?
It's all part of the project.
Yes.
Yeah, so,
And Ken, did you have anything?
By chance, tomorrow he's going to court with our lawyer. So, and it is paid for already through him. So, before we spend any more money,
Yeah, request
why
all
don't we
records.
try to get what we've already paid for?
Absolutely. And maybe we can do an update, I mean,
So,
instead
but
of
we
a
all
full
agree
blown.
that this, is something that we need to get done.
Yeah, our proposal that dated May
Or have.
22nd of 2014, will physically map all structures and put them in a drawing for you, assuming that there's no information.
Right, and you guys did get a, township base map
We did.
for us, but, and
Yep.
didn't charge us.
Yeah, that was an $850 saving that
Thank
we
you.
obtained from the county. So yeah, by all means, request all records. If you can get them, that'd be great.
We already have, but I think the judge will be the next one requesting it.
I'm sorry?
I say we already have requested it, but I think the judge will be the next one requesting it.
Yeah, unfortunately, sometimes you have to go that route.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
What's that? Oh, you want to do your engineers
Yeah, we can
report?
go.
Yeah, while you're up there.
Oh,
Yeah.
or you want,
are we doing the,
or we're just doing
just
discussion?
information?
Yep.
We do have one more item on the agenda.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, forgot we have the trunk or treat. So I'm gonna do the trunk or treat and then we'll do the
Oh,
engineers
I'm
report.
sorry.
I
That's
forgot
okay.
that. It's sitting right here all over the place. Okay, item number 8, trunk or treat flyer and signs. So everybody has a copy of the flyer. And then, I wasn't able to, I couldn't get this to print, but I have a picture of the sign. There's that, the Parks and Rec is gonna put for, in front of the township. Oh.
And that's the sign for.
Yep, that's a sign they submitted, but I wasn't able to print it, so that's what you guys are selling. I think it's a trail sign.
And where are you gonna put that?
Right here at the corner, so for more advertisement for it. So, I will make a motion to, approve the flyer for the trunk or treat and the sign.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, Planning Commission report.
That's you.
Did Pat come back?
Yeah.
That would be,
Okay. In the planning commission, we've still been working on our master plan.
You're the board rep anyway.
Okay, and, still continuing to work on that and try to get that updated. And, we got some of the members that are getting ready to go to some of the, classes in regards to the planning, which was up there in the, consent agenda.
So what assistance does the planning commission, do they plan on giving to the board as far as direction so what direction are they headed as far as following the master plan?
Trying to just update it and see if there's anything that's a necessity, like in regards to the new park, it will be added to the previous master plan. Now the Verizon Tower will ultimately end up being in there, and what happens with that. It hasn't been completed yet. We just got done reviewing it on the last meeting. Nothing has been applied.
Okay. Did Verizon?
Ken, I have a question. In reviewing the planning committee report that Pat put out to all of us, obviously I appreciate their work and what they're doing. In the report, some of the suggestions were development of the park, the bike path, river coordinated corridor development, better water utilities, fire protection, public transportation, cable and internet, blight reduction and enforcement. A lot of items, a lot of good points. They're going to school, I know on that. Have they come up with suggestions, or through their networking, have they heard or could they possibly think about it to bring back to help fund these projects, if that's
No.
the route we go?
They haven't talked anything about funding any project other than Marine City would like to see Cottrellville put in a sidewalk to the school. That's the only thing. But only to that school. I guess they're not interested in putting it to the high school.
Where do they want the sidewalk to be at?
She kind of indicated if it was going to be on the Cottrellville side, it must be going across the front of the cemetery.
Because we're working on, with Marine City, they're working on a safe routes to school program with, so I'll get together with you on that.
Okay.
So that you know, and I'll give you the ladies, who's working on that with SEMCOG. So, anybody else have any planning commission questions? Thanks, Ken. Just up to school. Engineer report? Samantha here.
Thanks again. I believe you have an updated report dated October 5th in your packet. Just going to go down the list really quick. The SAW grant, we're still trying to find a contractor that would work within the budget. Just to share with you, the City of Yale just obtained theirs. We're their engineers. We're talking to their contractor. They may be interested in awarding theirs, Cottrellville and Lennox Township as one project. We may have some savings doing that. So that's still in the works. I'll keep the board posted. The water system mapping we just talked about. The asbestos removal, we did send the closeout letter. I haven't heard any issues back from the state.
I just wanted to clarify, the Detroit News had published an article stating that the removal of debris there was improperly removed. And I just wanted some clarification as to, the article was an error, so I just wanted some
Unfortunately,
verification.
the newspaper does not regulate what the state does.
Okay.
There is still a pile of shingles there that did not get shipped out with the hazardous stuff.
That was not part of the project.
That hazardous stuff wasn't part of the other hazardous stuff?
I don't know if we can classify them as hazard. The state did not request that. We exactly provided the state with what they needed. If they need more.
And disposed of it accordingly and everything, so that's what I wanted to clarify.
And our closeout report was provided, and if they have any issues, they should have told us. The project
Which they
is
have.
closed.
Right, okay, thank you.
The review projects, Verizon Tower, they're under the engineering plans review stage, and Lori asked me to go over the construction permit steps after the Planning Commission approves the site plan. Now it goes and triggers the engineering stage, which is basically submitting plans for the building department to apply for the construction permit. So your trades, your building department, electrical, plumbing, whatever, whoever is involved in the project, and plus our us, we review the detailed engineering set and then make recommendation back to the township so you guys can issue the construction permit. After that is done, we hold a pre-construction meeting and we go over who's going to do what, the inspection, the construction, jurisdictional agencies, contractor, all that going to be laid out in that meeting, and then we go for construction. Once they're done, we will make a final inspection on site and produce a closeout recommendation letter to the township. Once you receive that, then you can issue your CFO. And that would be the end of the project. Is that clear enough, Lori?
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. FiberTech, I know my list says application withdrawn, but I just heard back that they are back. They reapplied, and I just received the packet from Lori tonight. We'll be looking at it, making a recommendation to the Planning Commission. Grants, we have no go-ahead on any. That safe path to school is something really good that you guys should go after, and we can help you.
Any questions? None? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Item K, public comment.
I've got one.
Oh, first Med.
No, on the public comment, to address us as a whole board, I guess.
Do we have to-
LTC has been waiting for their occupancy permit. They claim that they have requested it multiple times from here at the Township Hall and would like to find out when they can get it there. Have not been able to get an answer.
I'll look into that tomorrow. Thank you for letting me know. Anybody else? All right, we'll do public comment first and then.
Whenever you're ready.
Go ahead, Tony.
Sorry, Tony.
No, that's all right. I just wanted to elaborate on some of the stuff that I didn't want to take up too much time earlier on the trunk or treat. This is our second annual trunk or treat. I'm expecting to be a great success, like the first one that Cottrellville ever had. I got people coming from Auburn Hills, I got people coming from Oxford, and I got people coming from Waterfront to pass out candy. So I think it's a great accomplishment as far as bringing other people in other communities to here to help out Cottrellville. And the reason I got those because they're family members that live out there and are coming to support the trunk or treat this year. So that's a good thing. The other thing I wanted to mention is Kelly's going to put it on Comcast. It'll be for the people that are not here. The times, the date will be on Comcast on Channel 6. You can get the information there. There's flyers out. You can contact me, Tony Spatafor, at 586-663-0169, or Susan Gadwell. I don't know your number. I don't call you. You want to say your number real quick?
I'll say it when I go up.
Oh, okay. Well, she'll address her number. I don't call her, so I don't know it. Sorry about that. But in light, I hope we all come together as a community and support this. This is our second annual one, and the first one was a success, and I'm expecting this one to be even bigger. So thank you.
I just wanted to let you know that I got confirmation from Chief Joe at Marine City. They will have the fire truck. It will be, the water truck, it'll be there at 6:30.
Okay, thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
appreciate it.
And the park looks great.
Thank you.
It looks really, it looks awesome.
We still got a little bit more to do in the decorations, but we're waiting on some more donations like straws, and then I got to take out some skeletons out there and stuff like that. So,
I'm going out begging for that tomorrow too, so if
oh,
I'll let you
okay.
know what I come up with.
Great,
Just
Kelly.
on that.
I appreciate your effort.
Pumpkins too.
Yeah. Anything else? No? Everybody satisfied? No need to get nobody's ass today? No, I'm just kidding. You guys have a great night. Thanks.
Any other public comments? Okay, moving along. Supervisors' comments? Oh, what we got? Patty, we're gonna do you have any comments you'd like to make?
I have a few things I'd like to bring up. I just want to let people know that a while ago I met with the county to discuss the interest rates for our bonds for our water districts, trying to get those lowered. And the advantage to that would be, lower prices for the citizens as well as the township. But I was told that the investors are not ready to bring those bonds forward until 2018 for review. And at that time, we can decide whether we want to make a change to those or not.
I'm sorry, I can't hear. There's too much talking in the back.
Also, I've been working with a financial advisor to come up with a plan to ladder out our investments a little bit better to work for us and offer a larger return. Next, a couple of meetings ago, Bev brought up the question about the money that was used for the Carroll Street project and if that was paid back to general fund. After extensive research and a lot of phone calls, it has not yet been, but a definitive figure has been found as to what was borrowed. And because it is an enterprise fund, I was advised to have our lawyer look at it before we make any kind of transaction to put that back into the general fund. So that's in the works. And the last thing is, we've had a few complaints about homes on Chartier. There's a couple of vacant ones. Matt and I contacted the property management companies to those homes, and one is, the bid is going out to work on the one home, and the other home, the work should begin to clean up on that home within this month. So looking forward to get that done. So thank you.
Kelly, I have a question, just for information. What time is this hall open, the meeting day?
On the meeting day, we don't really have a set time.
I mean, like 7 o'clock, shouldn't we be able to come in?
We don't really have a set time, to be honest with you, if you
Well,
want.
maybe you should think about it, because up until now, 7 o'clock, it was always open, we could walk in. We're standing out there 15 minutes while all of you guys are in here, and then we are told, oh, I thought I heard voices. Well, what do you expect on a day that we have a meeting?
Good point. We will have a vote on a set time to open a meeting. Ken, you have anything?
No.
Matt?
Just briefly, that grant that I mentioned last month, the Lake St. Clair Collaborative Invasive Species Control Grant, Fragmite grant. We turned in people that had given us our names and their information. But in addition to that, we did some research on a home on Starville that's vacant. The owner had passed, I think, over a year ago. Patty was able to get the lawyer who's representing it's not a family, he was by himself, but the lawyer that represents the bank that owns that home, and give us a letter stating that he would be responsible for the requirements in that grant. And the reason I bring it up, I thought it was important. That house has been discussed for, I know, as long as Kelly's been here, and probably before. The concern was try to clear that up and clean that up for the neighbors, the two citizens on each side. So we added that one to the grant. If we get the grant, hopefully that will be taken care of.
Great. Thank you. Lori, do you have anything?
I have nothing.
Let's see, what do I have? With regards to public comment for last month's meeting, a resident had said that they couldn't hear very well in the back of the room, so I asked Paul if he could turn up the microphone, so hopefully that helped you guys.
It did.
Okay, good. We addressed my issue with residency. Let's see, where are my notes? There has been some statements made that because there's so many boxes in the clerk's office, that the clerk isn't doing her job. I just wanted to set the record straight that those boxes are documents that were restored from the basement flood. The documents from the previous board were stored in cardboard boxes and they were put on the basement floor. Last week, we had some volunteers build more shelves. DPW, Don Chop came in, and some of his people, and they put the boxes downstairs and put the shelves up, and now everything's off the floor, so that's good news. There's also been statements made that the clerk, Lori's never in her office. Lori's in her office on weekends, she's in her office at night, she, is here whenever I call on a Saturday or Sunday to ask what she's doing. She's basically here.
I'm here during office hours also.
You're during
It sounded like I wasn't here at all.
Oh, no, I mean, you're here a lot, even during non-office hours is my point. And then also she, being that we have the revised credit card, whatever, if anybody needs purchases or mail or whatever, she's got to do the running to go and take care of that as well. With regards to Patty Kowalczyk is the only candidate that she showed an initiative by going to neighboring communities. This is with regards to why I chose her. She also asked about the position, what the duties entailed. She contacted banks and asked what ways the township could invest its money. Of the other two candidates that people were saying were more qualified, one of them didn't show up, and when she did show up for the interview process, I asked her if she had received the email, and she said she did, but she didn't show up for the interview, so, or actually, she didn't do the interview questions, I should say, for us to look at the time. The other one was, the other served as deputy treasurer for a month, left work and never came back. She didn't tell anybody she quit. About 2 weeks later, she notified and turned her keys in. So it deemed a voluntary quit. I felt that Patty was the best qualified. Her presence and her demeanor with the residents, even now when I hear her speaking with them, is very positive. I've gone with her to the county on her requests to seek knowledge through our commissioners and through the administration over there with regards to our water system, and I've heard her talk to banks. So just in the short time that she's been here, she didn't have to prove herself, but she just reaffirmed that I know that I made a good decision. With regards to Parks and Rec, Tony and I, it was brought to my attention that there were some issues with regarding the condition of the township park. Tony and I met. There was some confusion with regards to what was the park maintenance job duties and what were not so much Parks and Rec duties, but what was financed under, which and completely understandable. Tony and I sat down and discussed it face to face like mature adults should do, and we were able to figure out a way to solve those problems and how we can make sure that there aren't future problems, and how we can work together to have our park look the way that it does now. So that shows me that that meeting worked, and I think our park looks great, and we are working towards having it stay that way, finding funding, helping to see what we can do with the land side of the Waterfront Park, and fixing the equipment, and just working as a team and with everybody. And I'm very happy that we had that meeting, and that we can move forward with the Parks and Rec. That's what I have. With regards to, I apologize for earlier, for the outburst. When I first became supervisor, I was petrified to have these meetings. And when we first had these meetings, they were like they were tonight. That's why I purposely didn't stop anybody or say anything, because I liked that we had the town hall meetings and that we could all talk like we did tonight. And I'm being recalled because I wasn't aware that somebody was short 40 seconds. We weren't really keeping time at the time. We were having meetings like this. I prefer to have meetings like this. I would much rather have somebody yell and scream at me to my face than going through the newspaper. I've asked many of times for people to come in if they have a problem with me or something that's going on and discuss it. The same people that keep getting, well, majority of the same people that keep getting up to the podium only get up to that podium once a month. They don't call. They don't come in, they don't, there's one or two back there that will write a letter with their concerns, and I try to address them. But it concerns me that Pat Runyon is our planning commission chairperson, and for her to behave like that at a board meeting is unacceptable. She's had several, excuse me, I'm talking, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. She's had several times to come in. She's had several times to come in, and she's been in the office several times when I've been here to talk about that very issue, and she's chose not to until tonight. And I've explained before, and just that kind of behavior from people that sit on our boards and committees at our board meetings, it's not necessary. It's not necessary. We should be working together as a community. I've lived here for 4 years, and I've had my shares of whatever it is that has happened, but I just can't understand why, and I still want to do my job, and I still want to be a part of this community, and I just can't understand why that behavior is necessary. It's not. There's so much that we've done just in the last 3 years between Shea Road and the Waterfront Park and Mary Agnes, for you to still sit there and explain to us stuff that we don't know. There are things that we don't know, but that's what our previous board members should be there to help us, not berate us and yell at us and tell us what we're not doing right and wrong, because it's all a learning process. Anybody that has a new job is gonna make mistakes, but if you learn from them, then they're a lesson. Yet to repeat a mistake that has been made. I just would appreciate, instead of people, even if I'm recalled or whatever, I would just hope that people would help other people instead of trying to see them fail. I think that's the whole idea of a community, is to help each other.
Kelly, I just want to respond to your comment about the people going out there to speak, that they should be calling. I know for a fact, my husband and I have called many times and never received an answer. So that is our only choice. I have emailed Matt, never gotten a response. We have called, never gotten a response. So our only option is to come up here. Maybe if the office and our board would return their messages when we do call, we wouldn't have to go up there.
Well,
and say
and
something.
for things like that, I agree with you. And then that's why I tried to address the public comments that were made at last month's meeting to this month. Oh, no, that's okay, but I just think that that's just good communication with one another, is to respond to those comments that were made the previous month, because sometimes when people get up there, we're not in that mode, or we're trying to think, so that gives us time to research what your needs are in that. My whole point is just everybody blasting everybody. That's just not.
No, but I think maybe I'm wrong, but I think as a taxpayer, I have the right to expect a call back.
Absolutely.
A message back, no matter what. My last message to Matt was, I give up. I'm going to wait until we have a new board and work on our problem with them, because we do not get answers. And he's not the only one. No matter who we call, we can count on not getting an answer. And I think that is disrespectful to all of us in this township. We have a right to hear from our people. We voted you in. And I'm sorry about the recall coming up. But honestly, you guys asked for it.
Matt, did you want to respond?
No, I'm just going to talk to her because I have no idea what she's talking about, but obviously this isn't
I
the
can bring you
voting.
a copy of my email that I sent
And
you.
that would be nice, and I'd love to talk to you, but I don't know what conversation, the last
We're
issue.
talking about our property and the flooding that we had when we had a rain. and you only took the word of whoever you said. He was told that we said our flooding is a result of his pond. That was not what was said. That is not our problem. His pond is not causing a flood. What is causing a flood is when we have heavy rains, which we did this past spring. When he dug out his pond and made it wider, he took all that dirt against the fence. So now, fine, it doesn't do any good. I'm waiting for the new board because
Ken, why don't you explain what it's like in living where there's a playground and ditches full of weeds? When you get a big summer rain, that water takes a long time to go down. 3 sides of my house, I took pictures, even in my feet, water up to here. There's nowhere for it to go because the ditches in the summer are full of weeds.
If the ditches don't drain, it's not gonna help around anybody's house, but to pile up dirt such as what this
well,
lady is
that's what
speaking
he
of,
said, Ken. He put the dirt against our fence.
that's
Now the
making it
water
even harder
can't
to
go
get it to
anywhere.
drain.
Right.
Well, why don't we come out there, Bill and I, because that's what Bill had told me, and you
Bill
weren't
was out
here,
there,
and you
he
weren't.
got the wrong information. It's not the pond that is causing it. They even broke our fence posts and Ken
But
had to
I'd
fix
like
it.
to come out there with you.
Sure.
And him, to look at it, and me, because we're all involved, and to look at it and see what you're talking about and what Bill's talking about, so that way we
Bill
can.
made it clear what he's talking about. He left Ken a message that there's no problem with the pond.
And that's what he told me too.
And that, we know that. The problem is not the pond. The problem is the dirt he took out of the pond. He hired someone and he pushed all against the fence. Now when it rains, the water can't go anywhere. Barb has the same problem. She's been going round and round with it for years.
Okay, after the meeting, can I talk to you?
Sure.
So we can- Okay, with that, anybody else have anything?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.